go get those. Just wanted to give out some shout outs. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Spilt, and Ryan Bramwell, and Maxon. They are behind all of your free liquid beverages. So, big thank you to them. Big thank you to Dan Ito for helping us set up this awesome venue. How about this venue, guys? Just gonna do some beer after we're done with this, right? So, I want to introduce someone very close and dear to my heart. I wouldn't be here without him. I want to thank Nick from GreyscaleGorilla for coming on out here and talking to us all. So what we're going to do, Nick's going to give a little talk. I'm going to give away some more prizes. We got some more beers that we're going to raffle off and some more stuff. We got swag on the front table as well if you haven't gotten all that stuff. I'm EJ, by the way. I'll be your host for today. But thank you guys so much for coming out, and Nick's going to set his camera, and we'll get started. So, like I said, Nick's gonna come on down here. He's gonna do a little spiel, try to sell you some stuff. I don't know what he's trying to do. And then we'll do some Q&A, and I'll come out to you in the crowd and ask Nick anything. It's an A&A. All right. Awesome. Yeah. Come on, everyone, give a big round of applause for Nick.
Yo, give it up to EJ for getting us in a brewery. Yeah! That's like a stand-up comic move. I've always wanted to do that. I'm gonna move this over here. This is amazing. Is this the second one, EJ?
Second one, yeah.
Second C4D meetup in Denver, and thanks to EJ who moved here, 6 months ago. Thanks for getting us off the ground. And thanks for having me as well. And thanks for coming out. You know, the big thing, I always talk about this, but the fact that you guys are at a meetup is one of the biggest deals. The meetups I went to all throughout my career are where I met the people that hired me. Some of my friends that I still hang out with. Some of my eventual mentors. Some of my eventual employees. Some of my best friends I met in a group like this. So, congrats to you guys. Give it up to all of you who came here to hang out and meet other people that do what you do. Give it up for you. So, I'm in the middle of a road trip here, and EJ's like, come out, hang out, and I thought I'd share with you guys something I've been working on honestly, I've been working on this for 8 years now, but I never had a way to describe what this is. And actually, is all that music just coming up from it's open in the front. Okay, that's okay. I'm okay with this. I work with music. How's the live going, EJ? We good? Hi, Internet. Hi, thanks for coming. There's 100 people here in a brewery. It's pretty amazing. So, yeah, give it up for you again. Give it up for Thor, first one here. Dude, thank you, buddy. So, I wanted to talk to you guys about something. You know, Cinema 40 is obviously important to me, but there's been something else that I've been trying to think more about, and that's having a creative career. Who's here because they saw something once and they're like, I want to figure out how that's made? Who's here because they saw it and they're like, what tool did they use? What software did they use? How can I do that for a living? Who's here for that? Give it up. Dude, and that's such a big part of what got me into this. When I was about 5 year old, my favorite questions to ask were, how do you do that? When there was somebody playing piano at a piano bar, I would ask, how do you do that? When there was somebody playing guitar at a friend's house, I'd go, how do you do that? And my life revolved around obsessing around these things. I would go buy the books, and I would obsess about going to get lessons and figure this stuff out, right? And in fact, there's one time I was at a magic store, a dusty old magic store. The guy behind the counter goes, hey, do you want to see a magic trick? I go, yeah. And he did the best, coolest magic trick I've ever seen in my life. And oh my gosh, beer, thank you so much. Cheers for beer, thank you. That's amazing. So, he did the best magic trick I've ever seen in my life. He made a card, he made me pick the card, he went to the top, went to the bottom, and behind his head, it was in a sealed envelope, did the whole thing. And I go, what did I ask him when that was over?
How'd you do it?
How did you do that? And he goes, smart guy, buy this book, buy this deck of cards, go home and practice, and you'll be able to do these tricks. And that was it for me for the next 6 to 8 months. Obsessing over reading this book and figuring it out. Every time a new family member came over to the house, it's another Nick magic trick show. Come on in, I'm practicing on your ass. Now, over time, I started obsessing over other things. There were things on TV. The More You Know logo would fly, and I was like, well, that's not filmed. That's like a graphical thing, but it's got sparkles. How do you do that? Nobody really had an answer for me. But then Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 came out. Now I'm dating myself, but when those movies came out and I was a young kid, 12, 11 years old, I was obsessed, and they started saying these words I did never heard before, computer graphics. Oh my gosh, these are things I love. Computers, those things play video games. I know all about that. And the graphics, that was the thing on TV that I was obsessed about. And bigger than that was the words behind the scenes. Behind the scenes started coming out, and I was hooked. They would show people that made this stuff and how they did it on computers. And I realized right then that not only were they just normal people in a room somewhere making this, but they were getting paid to make movies. They were getting paid to make Jurassic Park. And I was like, I need that. So when it came time to go to college, I was like, figured it out. I am gonna make the stuff that I see on TV, the stuff I see in the movies, and I'm gonna go obsess over this new thing, and I'm gonna go figure this whole world out. So I went to school, and they started teaching me the exact same software that the professionals use. They said, this is the tool that made the stuff that you love. And I go, I'm in. So I obsessed, got the books, just like I did as a kid. I got the books. I started obsessing over it. I started practicing and tooling around and went through more school. And I eventually graduated. And I got a job. I actually got a job making this stuff. And started making real commercials. But every time I looked at my screen, and then I looked and remembered on all the things I was obsessed with as a kid, there was a gigantic gap in quality between what I could produce and what I saw and the work that my heroes could do. And I didn't know what it was. What piece of software am I not buying? What piece of software are they not teaching me in school to be able to make my work look like that work? I didn't know. I tried different plugins, trap code, man. I got all the trap code. It got a little bit better, but still not perfect. What was I missing? And it wasn't until a creative director I was working with, he came up behind me where I was working and he goes, hey Nick, can I talk to you for a second? Yeah. He goes, you know every button of After Effects. If we have a question, we come to you, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I go, yeah, thanks, man. Pat myself on the back. I've been practicing. But he goes, can I tell you also a little bit something? Yeah. He goes, your work is ugly. And that hurt. But he didn't stop there. He kept going. The good news was, as he kept going, he started telling me what was wrong with it. He started giving me the tools and giving me the things that I could put on the screen to make it look more like the stuff I saw on TV. He said, you're not learning design concepts. You're not understanding how to place things in a screen. You're not understanding core animation concepts. And he would teach me these things. He and many other mentors in my career taught me the things that eventually made my work look more and more like the work that I wanted to make. And it fucking worked. The stuff that they showed me was not just design tips, although those helped a lot. It was a different way to see the world. It was the ability to look at something and understand why it was beautiful before I started making my own stuff. And as I started learning these tools and practicing these tools, my work got better. They started picking my boards. That was huge for me. My board got picked for the Conan O'Brien show. I got to go work with one of my heroes. I started working on HBO stuff and Showtime stuff. There was a Super Bowl ad. I animated a Super Bowl ad. I got to call my mom and go, Mom, check that. And she's like, My son animated the whole soup. No. Just that one little quarter second right there in between commercial breaks where I did it, Mom. I'm there. And so as I started becoming better in my career, there were students at the school where I went to school that started asking me the same question that I asked when I was younger. How did you do that? Students that I started meeting looked at where I was in my career and they started asking me the same question. How did you do that? And I didn't have a really straightforward answer. So I thought about it. I went back and I thought about all the things that really mattered, the things that my mentors taught me, the things I learned from books, the things I learned throughout my career that helped me get to where I was. Because if I could save time for the next person and save them that heartache of looking at their work over and over and over again and wondering what the heck is wrong, then that would make me happy. So I started writing it down. What things matter? And I started talking about this stuff over 8 years ago. Even when I started GreyscaleGorilla, I talked about Cinema 4D, I talked about After Effects, but I also tried to talk about the things that mattered, the hard stuff I called it. Design, composition, learning about color theory, learning how to get a promotion in your career, learning if you're in the right place at your job or if it's time to move on. Those are hard things to learn. Those things are not in a book and they don't teach you those things in school. So over time I started building these tips. And in the last 8 years I've been writing them down, and in the last, honestly, year I've been obsessing over collecting these into a framework that any creative person can use to get further in their career faster. And it's not about making more money, it's about being fulfilled as an artist. We all got into this because we looked at something and we said, I want to make it. And that path from not making it, a little bit better, I want to speed that up for everybody. And I've made a lot of mistakes, and I want to help anybody that's in any part of their career speed this up. So it basically, and this is a work in progress, so it basically came down to 4 or 5 main things. Now there's a lot of little details in this, and we don't have time tonight to get into it, but believe me, I'm focusing 100% on figuring this out because I don't want everybody to make the same mistakes that I did. So the first one is called Give a Lot of Shits. And this one's about passion. You guys have passion. You guys could have gone anywhere, but you're here tonight to talk about some nerd stuff and some C4D stuff and learn these things. So you guys are killing it with the passion right now. Yeah, give it up for you guys. Yeah. And that matters a lot because if you are working around other people that have more passion than you, they're going to work harder than you. They're going to think longer than you. They're going to read another book more than you. And really, they end up going further because that energy comes from the passion to start. Now, the next one, this one's called Make a Lot of Ugly Work. And that doesn't mean make it ugly on purpose. It just means that when you start off, and really anywhere in your career, when you're learning something new, you gotta make ugly stuff before you make beautiful stuff. And nobody told me that. I just thought like I was messing up, like I screwed it up. No, I needed to make that ugly work to make the good work stand out. I needed to make the ugly work to have the mentor walk up to me and go, can I help you? Can I please help you get better at this? I needed to make the ugly work to let people on the internet know that this is eventually what I want to do for a living. And they came helping, they came answering, right? Show your work wherever you are in your career. This is why daily render habits are so amazing, right? Get your work out there. Now the next one, this one's called Be the Worst in the Room. And this is about learning. And this is about, first of all, keeping a student's mind, a beginner's mind, no matter where you are in your career. It means that you never get to a place where, I know it all, I'm good. I don't need to learn anything else. There's always something new to learn. And the other part about being the worst in the room is about having the ability for a mentor to find you, right? If you are sitting wherever you work right now and you are the 3D person, you are the design person, and there's no one around you that can really help you expand and help you learn, be very careful. And I know this stuff isn't easy, but my goal is not to just make sure that you're working in the industry somewhere. It's to lead a fulfilling, creative life. And if you're stuck somewhere and you can try something else, and experiment and maybe be in another room. That doesn't mean quitting your job. It means coming to places like this and talking to other people that might be at different parts of their career, right? So try to be the worst in the room, or at least not the best. Now the next one's called, if you want nachos, don't go to Pizza Hut. Now that may seem obvious, but many of us in our career took the job that hired us first, right? We go, they're hiring, I'll go work for them and get started. And I don't think that's a bad game plan to start off. But if what you really wanted to do was this specific, if what you really wanted to do was model, and now you're off doing something that wasn't really what you wanted to do, approach it with the same idea, living the creative life and understanding that while you may have to work here for now, start meeting the people that do what you do for a living and try to expand that. So what that means is choice, right? The nacho pizza, that's about choice. It's about you choosing your career. And it's about bringing all the creativity that we all have, not just to our work, but to our entire life and our career. Where do you want to show up in the world? Where do you want to bring your passion and talents and get paid to do it? I think that's what we're all here to do. Now the last one is called being professional. And this one has a lot to it. And I'll share more about this as I figure a lot more of this stuff out. But being professional to me means learning the tricks of the trade. Learning the things that speed you up. Learning the contra code when nobody else told you and understanding, wow, now I have all the lives I want. Those things exist, but you have to go find them. Those things are hard to read in a book because a lot of people keep those under their chest, right? They kind of hide them in a coat. So, being professional is about showing up, being professional with your work, learning about deadlines. It's also about being a business professional. What we're all doing, especially those of you who are looking at getting into freelance or might be freelancing now, you guys run your own business. You guys have to figure out all the taxes and figure out all the BS that businesses figure out. You're not an employee. That stuff is hard, and that stuff's not taught in a lot of schools. So that is becoming professional. Now, I want you guys to think of this as a circle, not as a ladder, not as a way to go up, but as a full circle, because all of us, no matter where we are in our career, we might be lacking in one or two of these things. I know I lost passion at a certain point. I was obsessed. And at a certain point in my career, I go, I didn't get into this to make stuff for this client. I got into this because I loved playing with this stuff. So I did a career shift. I moved. I took my passions and what I was into and started GreyscaleGorilla. And I would thank you. One clap, that's good. Start stepping up. But I would encourage many of you to just think about where you are and understand where you are on the circle. You might be at a part where you want to change a career. You might be at a part where you want to learn more. Maybe there's a new piece of software that came out and you want to start learning. Maybe it is about design and stepping away from the computer for a minute and start learning some tactical design tips. So, to wrap this up, I want you guys to all think about where you are in the circle, and I just have one more story for you guys. When I was 15 years old, my parents decided that it was time that I go get my first job. 15 years old, it's time for you to get out of the house, start learning some skills, earning your keep, and learning how to contribute to the world and make some money, and maybe eventually move the heck out of here, So, picture me at the mall, this is where you go when you get your first job in the suburbs of Detroit. You go to the mall and you look around, and let me tell you, when you go to the mall to find a job, it's a completely different feeling than when you're there to just hang out. Because now I'm like, where do I want to spend all my time? Where do I want to hang out? What am I doing? And I was so lucky to have the parents I had. They liked their job. They loved their work. They would bring their work home and talk about it around the table and figure out how to be better at it. And I took that energy that they gave me, and I was standing at the mall like, where do I put my energy? Do I go to the record store? I was into music. I was digging some Weezer at the time. Do I go to the bookstore? I could read all these magazines about computers and cameras and all this stuff. And then I saw it, right in the middle of the mall, in neon letters. Magic tricks. a new kiosk opened in the mall, one of those little stands in the middle. And right below the neon sign, literal neon sign, right below it said, "Now hiring." 2 other great words. So I walked up kind of sheepishly. My parents are there with me, by the way. They're like behind me. Nudging me forward, I walk up and I go, "Hey, can I hire me?" And they go, "Sure." You know any magic tricks? They threw a deck of cards in front of me. Now, I've been working on this magic trick set for years at this point, doing it to every family member, and I still remembered it. I made the card go from the top to the bottom, behind the head, put it over here, and I did the whole setup, about 3-minute routine, and I dropped the deck of cards there, and he goes, "You're hired." And that was the first of many parts of my career where I was able to bring my creativity, my energy, my passion, and not only use it and get paid, but also learn on the job. They were teaching me new tricks to do, and I basically did magic tricks to people at the mall, and when they asked me, "How do you do that?" I got to say the same thing. Buy this book, buy this deck of cards, go home and practice, and you can do it just like me. Now, that energy that I felt, even at 15, has brought me through this entire career of trying to bring as much of my passion, as much of my energy to what I do, and also to share it with you. My goal for you, and for me, for all of us, is to take the passions, the talents that we all have, and bring it not just to our job, but to our life. I want us all to live a creative career and a creative life. Thank you. Okay, now there's C4D questions, I'm sure. So, we're gonna do Q&A?
Yeah, so let's, I need the raffle tickets first.
Oh, do raffle.
Dan, can you give me the box of raffle tickets? We got some leftover beer tickets. Who wants more beer? All right, so we'll raffle off some beer tickets. We'll do at the end.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Real quick too, if I know there's always a Q&A, and I know we do a lot of that stuff. If you guys have any questions about anything, I would love to talk about it, and I think we're going to do that in just a few minutes. I'm just going to go turn the camera on.
Right, yeah, do it.
Thanks again.
Thank you, man. Alrighty. So, we got beer tickets coming. Alright. Let's raffle off some, get your tickets out. Big thanks, and how awesome was that presentation? Like, just all you guys did was so amazing to me, considering I barely knew anyone when I moved here. And now I know, like, oh, you guys, and it's awesome, and I love it here. So, big round of applause to yourselves for coming out and just making this such an awesome community. A lot of people that I met at the road show. Who went to the road show last year, the Max on Road Show? Yeah. A few. I mean, there's a lot of people that didn't even go. So the one thing I heard over and over again was, I didn't know there was more than 3 people that used to know before me in this town. And everyone was just shocked. So I'm just great to be a part of this and a part of this community. And I'm really excited to get to know more of you guys. Enough mushy stuff, let's do beer.
We love you too, AJ.
I love you guys. Alright, so
Get on the mic.
tickets out. 395-2562.
Bingo.
We got a winner or no? Ryan's just being a jerk. Alright. On the face.
Get in there, lover.
395 is like the recurring thing, right? I don't need to. Let's do two. So 395. That's the everyone's got that. We got 2555. What? Oh, the kid, the 10-year-old kid won the beer. Alright, we got a bunch of beer tickets actually. So, alright. 2549. 2551.
You gotta shake this.
Winner. 2507. Never choose from.
I'll run them out.
You run them out?
Yeah, you keep rolling. I'll handle it.
Actually, you know what?
I'll just run them.
We'll save some so whoever answers a question will get a free beer there too. 2548. Woo! Alright. Keep it rolling, keep it rolling. 2544. 2544, winner? Yeah, alright. 2561. 2561, alright. Yeah. Lovely lady in the back. 2539. 2539, we got a winner in the back again. 2566. 2566. Going once, going twice.
Free beer.
Beer for me. 2560.
You gotta shake that up.
2516. Winner. 2516. Winner.
Free beer.
I'll do two more. 2504. 2504. Yes. This guy right here.
God,
2565. Yes. All right. Okay, so we got a few more beer. Actually, we ran through a lot of beer tickets here. So let's whoever answers a question gets a couple. Oh, we got some beer tickets. So whoever asks the question, not answer, gets another beer. So ask him anything, get a beer. You can even ask him, can I have a beer? JK. So, here, can you use this one?
Yeah.
Because this one's longer.
Yeah.
I mean, I can stand. I'll grab it. Give it up again for EJ for setting this up, please.
Thanks for everyone for coming out. Dan for helping set up this space. This is awesome. We need to do this again.
Yeah, give it up to Ratio for this space,
Ratio for
please.
hooking this up. This is awesome. All right, so let's open up the question. I got a question. I want a beer.
EJ wants a beer.
So Nick came in. You do your annual road trip, right? This is part of your annual road trip.
Yep.
Where do you go to now? Yeah, how do you like Denver so far?
I always like Denver a lot. This is I think it's my 8th or 9th road trip. And one of the things I actually put on a pro and con list when I started GreyscaleGorilla and started working from home was if I work from home, that means I can work on a computer. If I work on a computer, that means I can work on internet. If I work on internet, it means I can work from anywhere. And if I work from anywhere, it means I can go on a ski trip. If I go on a ski trip, it means I can ski by day and maybe take a couple days off and then I can work a little bit and I can go skiing. We're doing perfect. So 8 years ago, I started driving out west to go on a ski trip. A lot of my friends moved to Denver. You're welcome. And a lot of my friends moved to Salt Lake City. So I would come here, ski a little bit, be a ski bum, pretend I was a ski bum, stay on some couches. Thank you, EJ. I didn't ask you that yet, but if I ask you on stage, I think you'll say yes. And then I go to Salt Lake. So I'm in the middle of my road trip. I literally drove here from Detroit. This is the 8th day of my road trip. Go ski up in Keystone, I think it is, and then I head out to Salt Lake, and hopefully the snow is there. So that's why I'm here. Thanks for having me, Denver. It was amazing.
Thanks for coming down.
I love the town, by the way, and especially now that I know this place is here, I'm definitely stopping by. I usually go to Lions and go to Oscar Blues. That's usually a stop for me. Lions, Oscar Blues. That's right, dude. David. Giving it up for David, who's here. I had a meetup, like a last-minute meetup about, 5 years ago, David? I was sitting in Lions. Now, Lions has a brew pub and a pinball museum next door. And so I hang out there and I go, last minute, hey, if anybody wants to meet up, come say hi. We're doing a little hangout. David was the only one that drove up all the way from Denver, so give it up, man. Thanks for coming again today.
I'm sure it was lovely to hear just creative talk and stuff. Sometimes I think we're so deep into our computer monitors, and I think this is probably why you do this trip, is to step away, get introspective on what's the meaning of life. What am I doing?
What's the meaning? As I'm listening to my 800th podcast, I'm like, what am I really doing with my life here?
So again, not just C4D questions, ask life questions. Ask your most favorite color.
I'm okay with cinema too, but I'll answer anything. EJ, I'll let you pick.
You might actually come up here if we have a minute.
How do you separate, do all this cool stuff you guys do, working from home and all that with your daily life otherwise?
Yeah, like work-life balance?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your name?
Sean.
Sean, thanks for the question. You're the man. Here, you get a koozie too.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, so work-life balance, right? Who's struggling with work-life balance, especially like those of us that might be a little older? I'm not saying, but all right. So work-life. This is how I treat it, and it's always changing. But the way that I look at it is, I want my entire life to revolve around what my passions are, right? So when I was younger, my passions were a little bit more me-focused. And I wanted to learn cinema, I wanted to learn guitar, I wanted to be in a band, and I wanted to play After Effects, and I wanted to get a job. And so I did those things all day. And as I have more, as I get older, as I get married, as I might have kids, I can imagine that not only now, but in the future, my obsessions might revolve less around only me, but other people. So as that wheel turns, I might have to drop off other things to be able to focus more on my marriage or on a kid and those things. So for me, it's about understanding it holistically and not just, that seems like really a simple way to think of it, but for me, I try to be all in at work when I'm at work, and then be all in at home when I'm at home. So even though I think of it holistically, like it's all spidered together, it's not 100%. I still ask my wife if this is the right way to build something, because she's so smart with that stuff. But I guess for me, I try to be more at work when I'm at work and do less procrastination, knowing that I have less time in general, that when I get home, I do more home. And I'll say this last little bit of it. My friend, I was getting my first office. Now, I worked at home for years. I worked literally in my bedroom for years for GreyscaleGorilla. And I got my first office. And my friend, who already had an office, was like, I was excited. I was like, it's going to be great. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to get way more work done. And he looked at me, and he's about 15 years older than me, and he goes, you know what? You're going to get way more home done, too. And I didn't know what that meant. I just thought it was like a smart thing to say. But he was right. As I removed my work from my house, I actually got more home done when I was there. I was more attentive, and I was more engaged as a person. So that's always in the back of my head. That's tough. Thank you, Sean, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean. Cheers.
Question up front.
So, I see I talk a lot. I'll try to speed up this one.
Hello.
Hello, what's your name?
Luis.
Louis. Thanks for coming. Louis? Louis. Thank you.
So my question is, you speak a lot about business, and so my question is, are you a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan?
Am I a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan? Fuck yeah! Okay, so I'm obsessed with Gary Vaynerchuk. Anybody else like that guy? Like Gary? Anybody else hate that guy? Who hates Gary? Like? I enjoy Gary, yeah.
I don't know, I just kind of feel like some of the things you're saying out here were very reminiscent of what he says. And so, is there one thing that we can take from him and his philosophy that more freelance mostly is something that you can apply?
Yeah, I mean, I think Gary is a little heavy with the we gotta work 90 hours thing. I think that our community has no problem working $190. Like I don't think we have that problem. But I do like a lot of things that he says. I totally agree with when it comes to business. When it comes to marketing, by the way, if anybody's a freelancer or owns a studio, his marketing ideas are actually a thumbs up as well. So I like Gary a lot. I think there's a lot of those people around that are willing to stand up and like share if it's popular or not. And it's definitely something I'm honestly like inspired by. Like I'm inspired by people that are willing to stand up and yell about something that they're that passionate about. So definitely love Gary. And if you don't know Gary, go check him out. And if you hate him, watch him 3 times and then you can hate him. But let him sink into your skin a little bit. I enjoy Gary.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Thanks, Luis.
Next, all right.
All right, if you can do this, this will make you millions.
I'll try. What's your name?
Eldon.
Eldon?
Yes.
Cheers, man.
All right, you said that you spent time learning about shot composition. And you created a plugin that will actually assist people in assembling shot composition.
Say that again. What?
Shot composition. Shot composition is everything.
Oh, composition.
Now, if
Oh my
you
gosh.
create a plugin
That's a
that
pretty
will
good idea.
actually
Yeah, so
create shot composition that will be effective,
I like that.
streamlined. I told you, it'll make you millions.
Okay, so I'll give you the beta version of the plugin right now. So did everybody hear the question? So shot composition, I learned a ton about this doing photography. While I was learning After Effects, Cinema 4D, I did my own personal daily project, but it wasn't a render, it was photography. It was a photo a day. This is when digital cameras were really kind of picking up. And as I did that, I learned composition almost naturally, like why this one looks better than this one looks better than this. And as you start going through that and you look back at your work, you're like, wow, there are certain things that just look good in a frame and there's certain things that don't. So here's some basic composition rules that you guys can apply not only to your renders and everything you do, but every photo you take of your friends. This will help. And I want you to practice with photos if you're interested in composition. Number 1, don't make anything hit anyone's neck. Don't let the horizon hit their neck in the middle of it. It looks awkward, it's uncomfortable. Second thing, don't let things grow out of people's heads. Don't let a pole or like a phone pole stick out of someone's head. Re-aim the shot until their face at least is not full of stuff sticking out of it. That's 1. 2, when it comes to composition in general, I learned the basic stuff. There's so many advanced things that you can learn, but I keep it really simple. Symmetry looks great. If you can make things perfectly symmetrical, if it makes sense for your design, that's a really nice cheat for somebody that doesn't understand more advanced composition things. Just symmetry. Work with symmetry and making it perfect. Other thing is the rule of thirds. Anyone know the rule of thirds? So we got the rule of thirds, we got a tic-tac-toe board going across your screen. You want to make sure one of your main things are on that object. Now, those are basic ones, but for me, that stuff works a lot to me in thinking about your text as a person, thinking about the logo as a person, and learning all these things through photography, but then bringing that stuff to your renders, and making sure that the hero of the shot is readable, right? Readability is huge in our industry, right? So make sure it's readable, contrasted, and also use these human elements in whatever object it is, even if it's a sphere, especially if it's a sphere. Frame it like it's a human. And go practice with little objects. Literally bring up that figure and aim some cameras. Last thing I'll say is learn about lenses. Learn about different lenses. The reason a photographer has a whole bag of different lenses is because they all do something really different. And it's not just a zoom in and out. It's a completely different way to see the world. So when you pick your lens in Cinema 4D, that's as big of a design, it's as big of a design, part of your design as the colors that you pick. So go learn about lenses, go learn about, and take more photos. One more trick, I said one more tonight, then I screwed up. One more trick about photos. If you're ever kind of bored, and you ever want to learn about taking photos of people, go to the touristy part of your town, and look for every family trying to take a selfie that they can't quite fit everybody in. Be nice, grab their camera, ask them, grab their camera, take a photo, and practice. You can take tons of different photos and figure out where the background is. Is the Eiffel Tower going to stick up here? Is it going to stick out of their head? No, don't make the Eiffel Tower stick out of their head. So just practice, but also read about photography.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank that, and the plugin idea, I like that. Maybe it's a little...
It's for cinema. Cinematic shots.
Ooh, see, look, cinematic shots. We already got the name figured out. Thanks for the question. I said I would speak shorter, and then I go on and on about photos. Sorry.
Hello, my name is Aaron.
Aaron, what's up? I met you before, Aaron.
No.
Come on, Aaron, you look so handsome. Dude, that's a good. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So I used to work in the film industry, and I stopped because I started a lot of egos and all the people as a cameraman. And now working in the motion graphics center, I work alone all the time. They drive me crazy. So how do you balance collaboration with being alone?
You're saying you're the only one there?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so the question, if you didn't hear it, he worked in editing and film industry, I'm sorry, and now is the solo lone motion graphics artist where you work now. Anybody like the designer, the 3D person, the person wherever they work, right? So that's hard, right? How do you collaborate? How do you do this stuff? So I would start hugging everybody right now, like here, like group hug right now. If anybody else has that, like literally, if anybody else right there that just raised their hand wants to work on a project separate and wants somebody that has like a film background too, and maybe add a little bit of film style to their thing, buy him a beer or a Sprite and like collaborate, right? So that's one thing. You're in a room with all these people that want to do similar things. So network, talk, come to the next meetup, and figure out how you can contribute. And maybe you guys want to work on the next title sequence for the Chicago or the Colorado Cinema 4D meetup and play a little thing. Figure out a way that you can start to collaborate. If you can't do that, if you're busy and you have home life and you have to go, then do it online. And find that Slack channel where you can go in and find somebody and start to collaborate. So there's a lot of those going on. There's what they call, what's the thing where somebody animates and then the next person takes it over and the next person takes it over? Exquisite corpse, thank you guys. Find an exquisite corpse where you get to be a part of it. And that way you're working alone, but now you're experimenting with other people. So, yeah, get out there. Somebody buy him a beer and collaborate. Next question.
Do I need to stand up?
I'm Mike.
You can sit down, Mike, that's fine.
No, everybody else has been standing. I'll stand.
You can stand up too, Mike.
Sit all the way.
So mine kind of goes along with this as well. I'm getting ready to start a job way the hell out of BFE Fort Collins, and I'm going to be literally the only artist there, period, amongst two other programs. And one of the things, and that's kind of been my whole career, even when I was at Metro, I was a solo artist and not a lot of collaboration. And one of the things that I've been for other people trying to get into the creative industry is kind of a default mentor. But my question is for a person like myself, which I'm sure there's many others in the same position, when you desire to have that mentor, what are some things that you can do to kind of go out and at least let people know that you're looking for some type of mentor to help them in those areas, whatever?
Yeah, great question. So mentors, to me, are almost never aware that they're your mentor. It's almost never a handshake or like a written document and you both sign it and you both prick your fingers in blood. There's none of that. It's like, so to me, many of my biggest mentors have no idea who I even am, right? Like I'm reading their books, or I'm obsessed with their website. Like Aaron Draplin right now is somebody I'm focused heavily on because he's such a simple thing for that. He has such simple designs and such this retro style, and he brings this flatness to his work that I just love, right? But he doesn't know me, but I'm obsessed with him right now, and like obsessed with understanding what makes his stuff so beautiful, even though it looks so simple. So for me, I would find those mentors, first of all, that you don't need to make a handshake deal. Now, that's only as good as it can be when you can't have somebody physically giving you feedback. So what I would do is, rely on peers, and I'm actually like blown away that this many people are here in Colorado. Like, is anybody else blown away? Like, this many people are showing up to a Singapore event. Like, you're all within what, an hour of here? It's bonkers. So I would actually start to find and make relationships here, which is why I'll stop talking soon and you guys start drinking more, and start to build those things. And so you might have an experience with something that somebody else doesn't have. Maybe you are good at composition, right? And you can show people that, and somebody else is better at lighting and whatever you're trying to learn. You guys can help each other. So I would make those formally more like a peer-to-peer situation, or more in a group setting, or go to lunch together kind of thing. And then rely on those other mentors that they probably don't know who you are, but they definitely are teaching you just by existing in the world, or putting stuff out on a blog. And somebody like Beeple is inspiring millions, I don't know how many people watching Beeple, but thousands and thousands of people are obsessed with how in the heck he does that. So find that for you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Thank you. With Mike?
Yes.
Mike, thank you, man. Dude, you're next. I like it. It's right here in the middle. He's gonna be next. See that? He's got like a stout too, or something good.
So you kind of already answered this, but do you watch tutorials?
Do I watch tutorials? I do watch tutorials.
Who do you watch?
I watched. What's the last tutorial I watched? So I'm trying to think. My buddy Sean Cannell, had a video on how to make your YouTube video, like how to make a good thumbnail for your YouTube video. I watched that one. That's a good one. Sean's a good one.
Where do you mostly learn from?
So I'm like, right now, honestly, is learning how to run a business. Like, those are the things I'm obsessed with right now, because it used to be just me, right? It used to be GreyscaleGorilla, I'm the gorilla, I'm all of it. Customer support, everything. And a few years ago, we started hiring customer support, started hiring developers, like guys that could actually code and not just use Espresso, or like, make C++ plugins. And now Chad Ashley as a creative director, right? So now there's this entire team of people, we're all here dedicated for you guys, by the way. Like, we don't have clients, right? Who thinks GreyscaleGorilla has clients, like works in the industry? We haven't made anything for a client in 8 years, right? So we're all here to make tutorials for you guys, to help you guys to assist however we can in your career. So for me, I'm realizing that just like the beginning of the talk, where I didn't get into this to own a company, I just got into this to make tutorials. Now I'm actually really interested in how do you make a successful business around helping other people and making plugins and doing all this stuff. So I've been reading a lot about those things. And so that's part of my creative career. Like, I've stumbled into this, and now I'm learning to be the best that I can at it, so that we can keep this going. So that Chad and our team and our creative team and our customer support all have jobs in here, and we can continue to make more tutorials and talk about these things. So, for me, my tutorials are like how to run a Facebook ad. So watch out, you guys. I'm coming for you. I'll pick some of you. All right. No, we got the center one, and then we'll get to you.
All the way down to the back.
That's right.
First
He's still live? Hi, Internet. He's still live?
Hello there.
Hi, Internet.
First off, thank you for your knowledge.
Closer.
First off, thank you for your knowledge.
Thanks, man. What's your name?
Michael.
Michael. Shoot.
Kind of a two-part question. First is, how do you determine scope of work? Like, within the freelance world, you kind of, master of all trades, master of none. And then also when it comes down to rendering, the ethics of charging.
Charging for rendering? So, I'm a little bit removed from this world, but here's how I understand it. And I'll actually ask anybody that has a better answer for this. Please raise your hand, because you guys are more day-to-day talking with clients. But as I understand it, thank you for the question, by the way, Michael. As I understand it, as far as charging, you need to talk to your peers and understand where you fit in in Colorado, in the city, like, it's so hard to price because different cities, different people, all that stuff's so hard. So find somebody, honestly, that is around your skill level or just above or below, and have a really honest conversation about what they charge and how they do it, and price accordingly. So, you know, if you're too busy, raise your rates, basically. That's one way to be a little bit less busy and to make the same amount of money. That's one way to kind of dial that. And then as far as charging for rendering, here we'll just do a poll. Who charges for render time? Charges for render time, yeah? So what do you think? Thumbs up, yeah? Is it hard for the clients? Are they asking about it? Yeah? No? So I think it might be regional, it might be how big your company is, or if you're just freelancer and all that stuff. So it's hard for me to answer. I would find somebody here and ask and like figure out where you sit in that formula and start to play with it. So yeah, sorry, that's a tough answer, but that's one of those that is really regional and really dependent on where you are. But thank you for the question. See, we already got a conversation going. Boom. Come on up. Please. Oh, see? Thor, you're next. Next. Okay.
Alright, you've seen a lot of success, of course. Do you have any dream projects that you haven't had a chance to pursue yet? And what kind of skills have you have to acquire to make those happen?
Oh man, a dream project. Honestly, I think it'd be really cool to like actually work with MK12. I've always obsessed over their work. And they're still their work is so good. Anybody see the newest Man of Action that just came out? So the original Man of Action from MK12 was the first video that I saw that got me in all this stuff. That was my ultimate, how do you do that? Because it was like illustrated and videos and photos and all this stuff. So I'd probably collaborate with MK12 or something. Hey, if MK12, you guys are making a plugin, let me know. Like, I'd love to help. I don't know the skill set I would need or what I could bring to such a talented team like that. The other one is this, and I'm really going to try this in the next 10 years. I don't need to sing it, and I don't need to perform it, and I don't need to be on stage, but I'm going to write a song that you guys all know. Now, not through a tutorial. I'm not going to cheat it and put it at the end of a tutorial. I'm going to write it, and I'm going to try to get Justin Timberlake to sing it or something, because I like him a lot. Maybe J-Lo if you're listening, if you need some like Midwest, music. It's got a little, Beatles vibe to it. It's got a Weezer kind of bass line. I'm going to work on that. That's something I've always really obsessed over is music, playing music. And I don't think I'll be on the stage doing it, but man, if I could write a song, like maybe for the end of Shrek 8 or something, that'd be really cool. Like, I'm all in.
Shrek 8, that's your dream project.
Like, Shrek 8 is my dream project. But not to... It might be Justin Timberlake. Dude, I'm in. Hey, if I can work with JT, I'm down.
We'll do 3 more questions so we can get out of here, get outside. It's beautiful outside.
Thor's got one.
Definitely got one here.
Hi, I'm Thor.
Hi, Thor. Give it up for Thor. What a name, dude.
Okay, so decades ago, I saw a famous lecture by eyedesyn, who designed CBS, NBC, Steelers logo. He was the paste-up artist of the century, eyedesyn. And he said to be a successful designer is to be a child touching the stove. So when was the last time you touched the stove?
Oh man. Literally, I hurt myself a lot. Like, I don't know about the stove. But man, I like the idea of being a child like that. I'm more about stepping on Legos. Like that tends to be my thing. I don't know. When's the last time? I'll have to think about that one. That's tough. That's a deep one, man. That's a deep one. I can't. When's the last time you touched this stuff?
It's when you hit your head against the wall over and over, and you really try to progress.
Yeah,
you try to learn, you touch the stove,
you get burned.
and you get burned.
Man, I think we all hit that point, right? Like,
was the last time you did it?
You get stuck in a project, and so what do you do? So for me, the thing that I hit my head against over and over again is the admin part of my career. And then I think that goes with anybody. Like email, I'm the worst at email. Some of you may have emailed me, like, oh, Nick, just, hey, answer this one thing. I almost never write you back. I'm sorry, I love you guys. I'm the worst at email, right? So the admin stuff for me, when I hit my head the most, it's when those things come up. Because honestly, when there's a creative project, I can procrastinate, I can do that stuff, but eventually the right amount of caffeine and like electronic dance music hits, and then I'm through the wall, and I'm good. But with email, there doesn't seem to be a good combination other than hitting my head against the wall. So for me, unfortunately, it's boring admin stuff that I can't figure out how to help. That was a boring answer, but that's the truth. Okay, a couple more.
2 more questions, and that's it. Right in the back.
Feedback?
Oh no, you're good.
Alright. I'm Scott.
Cheers, Scott.
I have a question on balancing passions.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I feel like I'm in a stage of every time I look at something, that's cool, I want to learn that, I want to learn that, I want to learn that, I want to learn that. Now, I'm so inundated with I want to learn that, I'm not getting anything done.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you balance it?
I definitely have that problem. How to focus. Anybody else feel like they can't focus and like want to do 8 projects? Yeah, so like you're in the right crowd. It's like partly why we're all here, I think. For me at least, what I've seen work the best is when I push through another few weeks longer than I would have naturally. So here's something that I've done recently, because for me it's burnout. For me, I do this thing, I'm obsessed, and then there's a burnout phase. And then this new thing is way more fun and way easier to watch YouTube videos about, and I'm gonna learn Unity and whatever, and then now VR is a thing, whatever. And so for me, I tend to think in things as, instead of a project that you're gonna do forever, I think of it as a season. So not everybody can do this in all parts of their career, but think about whatever that new thing is for you as a season of your TV show. And the season of a TV show is not on all the time. There's a break. There's like summer when you go relax and figure out what the next season is going to be like, right? So now when I have an obsession, I commit myself to that season. I don't waver from that season, but at the end of the season, I give myself a pass if I don't want to do that again. So for me, that helps because then you can obsess over it, and you can, I'm looking over here, you guys. You can obsess over it and be all in, and then even if you waver in your passion for a minute, you know that there's an end. In 6 months, there's an end to this process, and I have to at least go through and do what I said I was going to do. It's like soccer lesson, or like, for me it was karate. I wanted to go do karate, but halfway through karate, I was like, I'm done with this, it hurts. And my parents are like, you can stop, but you gotta finish this season, dude. You gotta go to the finals, you gotta like, you know, do the crane and all that stuff, and then see if you get beat up, and if you don't want to do it next time, you don't have to do it. So I've been thinking of my creative projects like seasons, if that helps. Cool.
All right, one more question.
Oh, they're pointing at each other. I like
Fight it out. Crane kick each other.
Yo, Ramones. I just got in. This wasn't an argument. I was like, is Ramones America's best band, or is REM America's best band? Ramones. We obviously got that one. Ramones, anybody?
Yeah.
REM? REM, yeah? Cool. All right, good. Good. Okay.
I haven't heard REM since the last time I watched VH1.
Oh, dude. Burn.
I'm sorry.
Listen, okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
I don't want to. Don't get me started.
One sentence answer, right? So Stephen
That's
Pressfield.
impossible.
It's gonna happen. There's people want here. Stephen Pressfield wrote a book called The War.
Yeah.
In it, he manifests all of our creative foibles like procrastination, failure to launch, competition, all those weird things. He calls it resistance. What do you do to fight resistance? One sentence.
3 miles? Tomato timer.
2 words.
Tomato timer. Yeah. the Pomodoro technique. That is my resistance fighter, because it puts a timeline. It's kind of like that projects thing we just talked about. It's kind of like a season. I don't have to work 8 hours on it. I just need 25 minutes of focused effort on this thing that, whether I want to do it or not, I just gotta do it. So, tomato-timer.com. That's the answer. Yeah. Thanks for the question. That book, by the way, if you guys haven't read Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art, is that what it's called? What a great book. If you guys feel like you just can't stay focused and you're the only one that can't focus and get shit done, read that book and understand that everybody creative is having the same problem you are. And again, this is why meetups like this are great. We can all go you too? I thought I was the only one. EJ though, he gets it all done right away, right? You don't.
No. Well, I was later on a tutorial this week. Not Tuesday, it came on Wednesday.
Alright, it's up to you, man.
So, I just want to know, a lot of, books, things you read, I think that was one of the things that really, you step away from the tutorials for a while, you listen to podcasts, and even podcasts, you can keep going and on. There's a one podcast and we got 200 episodes. So I think books are really great, and you can just focus on just one book.
Yep.
What are some of your favorite books that have really opened your eyes to a certain way of thinking that really helped you in your career?
So I do audiobooks. It's hard for me to focus on paper. I never learned to read, is really the problem. But audiobooks, I'll give you two from my past that really made me think about this stuff differently. One is Lynchpin, thank you. One is Lynchpin by, I need help with this. Lynchpin by Seth Godin, who's read that? That's an amazing book if you guys want to learn about education and how all this stuff comes together. It was mind-blowing. Honestly, I think 4-hour work week was a big change for me as far as thinking about time and energy and life in a different way. And it's not about working 4 hours a day. I've never done that, or 4 hours a week. I've never gotten even close to that. But it's about spending my time on things that are more important to me. I learned a lot about that. I like Tim's work. So those are two those are my paths that got me here. And recently I read two books that are really great. One's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That is an amazing book. It's been, actually I read it twice already on my road trip, right? So I'm already 30 hours in on this road trip through Wisconsin and all. And the other one is, I think it might be called The Art of Self-Directed Learning or something like that. I'll get the title for you guys, but look for this. Self-Directed Learning, 23 Rules, blank, if anybody's writing stuff down. That thing's been awesome. And it's only 2 hours long as an audiobook, and it goes through all the things I kind of mentioned in my talk about how do you learn stuff if your teachers aren't going to do it, and if your mentors in the room where you aren't going to do it. How do you learn those other things? It's about self-directed learning. Awesome book. It's part of what I'm trying to do, by the way, is put down more of the books and podcasts I read on my website, and I'll definitely be putting those out, especially after my road trip.
Everyone give a big round of applause for Nick. Thank you so much for
Thank you, guys.
hanging out for so long, answering all these questions. Really awesome. So before we close out, you want to give away Signal, copy of Signal?
Let's give away a copy of Signal, because we're super excited about Signal.
And talk about who you're working with on Signal.
So Dead Mouse, anybody know that guy with the big head, with the big mouse head? So Dead Mouse, as everybody's probably seen, is using Cinema 4D on his Twitch channel, and he's sitting there for hours playing in Cinema 4D, and it's been amazing. And he was making his own espresso rigs to build BPM into his system, because he does electronic dance music. And so we started talking with him, trying to help him solve some of his problems that he was having. And we realized, Signal does all the noises, it does all the procedural animation, but what if Signal was better for animating those kind of things? It'd be perfect for him, right? It already was perfect for a lot of the things. So we're talking with him, we're actually trying to work with him on making it even easier for musicians to use Cinema 4D. So that's awesome, that would be huge stuff. So we're going to give away a version of Signal And then we'll also do HDRI Link, which who uses third-party renderers? This is a good time to do hands up. Hands way up. Third-party renderers. All right, who uses physical and standard renderers? Hands up, hands up. All right, we're still kind of split. Maybe still physical. But, all right, so here's the thing. If you are a physical user, we'll give you an HDRI Studio rig. And if you're a third-party renderer, we'll give you an HDRI Link, which allows you to use all those HDRIs in any third-party renderer. So, does that sound good? Yeah. So, we need two, right? All right, one from the top, one from the bottom. This is the fun part. You gotta read the whole thing. 395. See, that makes everybody excited. Oh, it might be me. 2525. 2525. And if you're not here, 2525.
All right, going once.
One more?
Going twice. Someone's in the bathroom like
2525? No, just a good fist pump. 395 2520. What? Are you in? Oh man. 2520. The good news is they're probably having a beer right now.
Yeah.
Bad news is we're not getting signal. 395 2557. 2557. Wow.
A lot of people in the bathroom or getting in.
All right, here we go. All right, got 2 minutes. 395 2502. 2502.
You're getting close.
I feel it.
Trying. You're getting close.
We're getting close. Oh god, that person won. 395 2525. Still got to say that on.
Let's put him back in here.
Put it in my pocket. They didn't get their ticket. They didn't get their ticket. All right, 395 2564. Yes! Woohoo! Give it up. Signal or HDRI? Signal! Yay! So let's get an email. Okay. Hit up EJ, collect them, and then we'll hook you up. Cheers, what's your name?
Ryan.
Ryan, give it up for Ryan. Gonna be animating procedurally. Yeah. All right, 395 2538. 38.
2538.
2538. One was? I mixed it up. 395 2517. Damn. Come on, fool. Last chance. Anybody? 395 2510. 10. Yay! So, what's the best way to email EJ? You let her know? Do you use physical scanner writer or physical? Alright, HDRI Studio rig, sound okay? Yeah. Alright, good. What's your name? Say one. Siobhan. Give it up for Siobhan. Thank you. Cheers.
Alright. So thanks again for Nick for coming out and doing this talk. This is awesome. Thank for all of you for coming out and here. This is awesome. Thank you to our sponsors again, Spilt. Thank you, Maxon. Thank you, Brian from Spilt. Yes. And actually, next month we're gonna have. They just moved in a whole brand new studio. Probably right down the street somewhere around here. But we're gonna have the next meetup for March at Spilt. So look, if you haven't signed up for your Colorado C4D email list, get on it. And let's see what else.
Give EJ a hand one more time for setting us up.
Thank you. And thanks again to Ratio for, this is such an amazing space. They've been great for us. Let's go get more beers and let's head outside. It's like 60 degrees or something, right? Yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, guys. EJ, thank you. That was awesome.
Awesome. Glad you guys liked it.
Yeah, it was good.